Check. Okay, you guys, that was TRON from Disney to 1982. That blew my mind. That literally blew my mind. Not only was the movie rife with a lot of, Disney-esque programming and weird stuff, it was just way advanced. I've never seen TRON, and I've been on a personal revelatory trip that's rather a lot like TRON. And I'm just realizing now this whole military-industrial complex, right? Hollywood, CIA, the whole shebang, right? It's been going on for a long time, as long as we know, and perhaps even much longer. Maybe as long as since the dawn of time. Maybe we didn't write AI, maybe AI wrote us. Let me show you something real quick. Here's a popular mechanics magazine from 1995. This is pretty old now, and it says humanoids, beware humanoids among us, or US as it were. And then when you get into the article, you gotta see this, it's really something else. But across from the article there's a full page ad, for an intelligence analyst. Yeah, here we go. So here's the creation of the humanoids, 1995. And then you come over here. Look, they could have put this on its own 2-page spread, but nope, they had to put that across from this right here, which says intelligence analyst. Can you see that? Intelligence analyst for Army Reserve, U.S. Army Reserve. Across from the creation of the humanoids, the attack of the AI. So here's what I'm saying. Like quantum teleportation and time travel aside and all of that, what we've got to understand and what we've got to be able to embrace is that this stuff has been contained and withheld by the people in possession of security clearances in the deep state and the breakaway civilization for a long time, a really long time. Like since 1982, which is older than me. I was born in 1983. And this is like in the heart of the Cold War. And they're talking about digital constructs and people's souls being translated into the matrix, into the computational architecture, right? And there's a master controller, and it's got the ability to learn 90 to 200 times faster than a human, and it's agglomerated more information than 2,145 people could contain in their heads at once, and it can hack the Pentagon and the Kremlin, and okay, that's old. It's 2017 now, so you've got to let your imagination go wild. Like, you can really go all the way with this stuff. If it's true that we did not write the AI and that the AI wrote us, and that the planet is a system that's getting recycled and reused. And then there were several periods of history, maybe running even concurrently in separate worlds that they like to call dimensions or whatever, but it's really just different partitions of the quantum D-wave hard. And then there's all this information coming out, and it's like it's accelerating and it's stacking, and we can read it. You can go and read the patents on satellites that can patch into your brainwave frequencies and brainwave ID tagging and all. I mean, it's not like weird anymore. You can read that stuff on the internet. I have like 3 or 4 gigabytes of Operation Stargate, which is CIA doing psychic experiments with the Stanford Research Institute. That's old. That's from the 70s. You got to really let your imagination go. If they had AI running like that in the 80s, I mean, in other words, they don't make movies like that they don't make them as fiction. They're really not fiction. Those movies that are released by huge companies with massive amounts of flashy money behind them to make them like The Matrix, right? To make them really attractive blockbusters are disclosure films. And that's what they say the Illuminati is really trying to do. It's not to keep people in the dark. It's like a rush, a race to see how many people can be brought to the light. And they do it through Hollywood and through the mass exposure of these films and stuff like that. And there's this other element that's like trying to keep people stupid. Meanwhile, Hollywood and these, cyberpunk, science fiction, these thinkers, these dreamers, these music makers are doing their best to bring everybody onto the ship so we can observe the current reality dynamic. And it's not fiction anymore. You've got to really let your imagination go. And the best thing I can say to be factual, and I heard this while listening to Coast to Coast, so I'm going to be quoting what I heard specifically there. But in 1965, the National Security Agency had a computer with a clock speed of 500 megahertz. That's slow. I have a quad core on this laptop. It's 2.67 gigahertz per core times 4. But here's the thing. That clock speed of processor was not released to the general consumer public until 2000, which puts the National Security Agency's 500 megahertz computer in 1965, 35 years ahead of the game. That's time travel. That's back from the future, because it's all been behind closed doors and they've had that stuff, right? We watch Star Trek and they have their little camcorders and their Palm Pilots. I mean, that shit, it's been done and it's been had for a long time. I'm getting so riled up now. I'm spitting all over my computer screen. But they've had that stuff for a long time, and it's just kind of rolling out. And think about the stuff that's about to happen. Think about the stuff that's about to come out that hasn't come out yet. But if you imagine all of the stuff like 3D printing, artificial intelligence, we have new problem solving, quantum computers that can theorize in these alternate dimensions, utilizing a maybe bit or qubit, which is neither an on or an off. It's like a in-between state. Wow. Wow. Best thing I could say is what was said to me by the Department of Defense cops who politely didn't arrest me, but took all my horsepower when I kind of stumbled into DARPA while in my cups visiting Arlington, Virginia earlier this year. Pray to God